Let me warmly welcome you to the City of Down YouTube channel. My name is Mubati Seeker. I am a medical doctor, healer, writer and teacher. I am the author of the best-selling Awake Giant, The Down of the Soul, which you can purchase on Amazon. This book can be your inner guide to inner development and self-discovery, helping you become who you truly are. I want to help you discover who you are, why you are here, what your unique and personalized mission is here on this planet called Earth, and how to set out with strong determination, courage, and resolve on the path that has been waiting for you for so long. This path was made for you, and no one else can walk it for you. My channel and of course my book will help you with this. And this makes the progress much easier. To think and feel like that instead of sitting down in despair and lamenting about things and what you are like, and the misery you endure and the defects you have and the impossibilities which beset you and all that. You say, no, those things are no longer in their place here, let them go elsewhere. Let them go elsewhere, where they will be in their place and welcome. As for me, I am going forward. I am going to climb a step. I shall go towards a purer and better and more complete light. And so all these things which like the darkness must go away, but that's all. Each time one sees in oneself something which seems really nasty, well, that proves that one has made progress. So instead of lamenting and falling into despair, one should be happy. One says, that's good. Never underestimate the power of acceptance. How many times have I found myself again and again feeling anger and rage? Because the dark forces of ignorance have taken aim at me, taken advantage of some weakness of mine, and I yielded to the seduction, sometimes because what they offered was all too attractive and made me believe that I needed the thing so much that I could safely sacrifice a number of things in my life for its acquisition, which I would never have given up in my right mind. Or I followed their orders out of fear. It's incredibly easy for these forces to manipulate the human mind through fear-mongering. If they catch even a glimmer of fear in you, they will immediately attack and plant doubt in your mind, and you will lose faith in yourself and in God. You will give these forces such power that you will actually believe that they have power over you, but they do not. It is an illusion. It is a deception. It is the part of their lie. They make you believe that they are fearsome, and if you don't obey their commands, then such and such terrible things will happen to you. They will take everything away from you, but as long as you obey, you can have everything. That's the lie of them. It is your fear that feeds their power. If you realize this, and if you learn to consciously adjust your state of consciousness to a wise stillness, you will realize that what you have seen as so vast and frightening has shrunk too small, to so small as to be almost non-existent. Your fear is what gives its power. It draws its energy from those living beings who believe it has power over them. What a blatant lie, no, for it is we who have power over them. For if we remain consciously in a state of peace, and there is not even a trace of fear in our vocabulary, what power could they have over us? These dark forces shrink to a small size. They may make one or two more attempts, gathering their strength for the last time to take back power over us in a final assault. Why should they not? Think about it. We have been controlled for years, believing we have reason to fear, and then we get a book from, say, the mother, and oh my God, what do we read? That fear is just a state of mind, and it is absurd to be afraid of anything because we set our own state of mind to this or that. Then there is a gap in the shield. The curtain of illusion starts to let the light through, and these forces are trying to plug the holes however they can. Time is working for God. The light will grow within us, and when it illuminates the ignorant and obscure forces lurking in shadows, they will not want to give up their sovereignty to the light so easily. They are accustomed to having us as their loyal minions who obey them in servile obedience. And all it takes is one or two small desires to satisfy us until we are at their mercy, accepting their reign of terror. But there comes a moment for all of us when the light begins to flicker and then to shine ever more brightly. How could they so easily leave their investment behind? Just give us over to the forces of light? Not anymore. This is what we experience again and again when we admit with brutal honesty to ourselves and to God some of our weaknesses that have some hiding in the shadows. But now we have allowed the light to reveal their true nature, and we let the forces of light take over. Now comes the final counterattack on that weakness from the dark forces, and they throw into our lives something very attractive that hits us in the very weakness we want to get rid of, or something very terrible that tries to re-inhabit us by creating fear. Let's be honest, we often fail. We thought we were strong enough, we stood up in the light and held our heads high and said, "Here I am, I've gained strength. This ungodly quality has no place in me anymore." And then comes the attack. And they ask back, "Are you quite sure of that? Are you really as strong as you say? Are you really no longer afraid?" That's when it's easy for a person who thought they were strong to get discouraged, and they're not sure they're so strong, so they quickly back down. "Okay, I'm not ready yet, another time maybe." The light has to recede again, and we become once more the instruments of the forces that create fear. But the time will come when you will be so strong that in such a final confrontation you will not collapse. You will stand your ground and say, "I am strong. Go back to where you came from. I cannot stand you." You're smugly confident of victory, but you haven't won, not yet. Did you hear my tone? How much anger, rage, and hatred for the forces of darkness was there? You cannot defeat them with their own weapons. Don't you see that their very purpose is to infect you with another ungodly force, hatred? When they can no longer instill fear in you, if you hate the demonic forces, you are still on the side of darkness, and then you might say you hate yourself, for you hate the side to which you belong by your anger. Only with love can you prevail. Notice how the mother expresses this with such love. "No, no, those things have no place here. Let them go away from here to find their place where they are welcome. As for me, I am moving forward. I want to climb another step. I want to advance towards a clearer, better, and more complete brightness. Thus, all those things that love darkness must depart from me." There is no negative overtone in this. If you can feel this way and say this, then the forces of darkness will see that it is useless to keep trying. They will stop wasting time on you. They will indeed move on and quickly find their new place. There are many places where they are still welcome. It is not advisable to fall into the weakness of pride at such a time. You cannot think yourself more than those who have found a new home for these forces. What right have you to do so? It is because after many years together you have discovered their true nature and asked them to leave. A few years ago, when they arrived at your place, you were in the same place as your fellow human being. He too will evolve, and he too will realize that he must send them on their way. When you compare yourself with others, never compare yourself with those who are at a lower stage of development, but look upwards to beings who shine with a far greater light than you, and try to become like them. See that they have been where you are, and know that you will be where they are, at that level of development. My grandfather had a cute saying that fits right in. When I was a child, when I used to brag to him about how good my report card was, he would ask me how my class was doing, how the others were doing. And when I told him that there weren't many good students in my class, he would say to me, "Listen to me, my son, don't be a giant among dwarfs. Brag about your achievements when you become a giant among giants." This sentence comes back to me very often, and what I thought at the time was very insulting, I now consider to be a great piece of wisdom. Perhaps it was no coincidence that I had to encounter this sentence then and there. So this is what I suggest to you. Seek out the spiritual giants, whether they are alive now or those who are no longer here in the flesh, but who have left behind immeasurable wisdom with which, if you embrace it, you can become a giant like them, a spiritual giant. I think that's a pretty good objective. It's all there within you. You just have to do it. As for me, I have never believed in big words. The truest thing for me has always been action. It's no use talking about something if your life doesn't reflect the truth of what you're talking about. Then perhaps it would be wiser to say nothing. Look for the spiritual giants. You will recognize them by their actions. Avoid the false lights, whose fine words of sound and fury hide in sincerity, power-seeking and manipulation. They too will become to us as a test along the way. We must learn to recognize the false lights. Think of it as a long apprenticeship where we go from nursery to university. And obviously we will be tested in a completely different way in a small group than as a third-year university student. Recognizing false prophets is more of an advanced university course, so to speak. That is why such deceptive lights are most likely to manipulate the masses, who are just beginning to get acquainted with spirituality, who feel a thirst for knowledge but do not have much experience, who fall in with the fine words of the first preacher who comes their way, and who may even wander in the labyrinth for quite a long time following him. At first you just sense some dissonance between words and deeds, and you don't even understand what it is. You put it out of your mind, but it stays deep inside you, and sooner or later you get the picture and you come to the realization that what you've been following for so long was a false light. But don't be discouraged, because, as the mother says, every time you find something ugly or unpleasant about yourself, don't be discouraged. It proves that you have evolved. So instead of feeling bitter and despairing, you can happily say, "Ah, that's good. I'm on my way up." So here again, the question of honesty comes up. It's very hard to honestly point out to ourselves and to others a flaw or ungodly quality. But if we do it and we are brave enough to admit it, that in itself is a sign of progress. It is a sign that we are moving upwards towards divine transformation, so that we can one day become spiritual giants of God. Let us seek the true lights and always trust only ourselves to do so. It is up to us to recognize them. We must learn to distinguish between the lights and false lights, between true lights and false lights. No one else can tell you that. How would he know? How can you know that the other person is not telling you something because he's trying to manipulate you and exercise power over you? I myself have encountered false lights in my life, but they could only deceive me for a while until I recognized all that lay deep within. Because on my own experience, I will give you some true lights without claiming completeness. They were all avatars. The word avatar means that for the purpose of restoring justice on earth, a divine person takes on flesh. Just because I am saying this, you don't have to believe me, because that is what I have just said. It is for you to decide who you think is the true light. The aforementioned avatars have created different paths, all of which lead to the same Supreme God. We must find out which is our path. God knows this well from the beginning, but He does not tell us directly. That is the point of the game. We have to find our own way, and no one else can tell us, not even our own family members. Only our soul knows that. And when, after a long search, we finally find it, we must put all of our efforts into finding it. We must put ourselves wholeheartedly into it. And I assure you that divine grace will give us all the help you need to walk the path that has been laid out for us, in spite of the difficulties. May the goal float before us all the way, and may we not falter for a moment. Life is a unique opportunity, a wonderful gift for progress. If you think about it, you can have everything here on earth in one way or another. The only thing that is dwindling is the time we have in this body and the mission we have to accomplish now, here in this body of ours. This is it. Let's briefly summarize today's video. The enemy forces are trying to intimidate you. If they catch even a glimmer of fear in you, they will immediately attack, planting doubt in your mind and causing you to lose faith in yourself and in God. Your fear feeds their power. You give these forces such great power that you will actually believe that they have power over you, but it is your fear that fuels their power. Fear is just a state of mind. It is absurd to fear anything, because we set our own state of consciousness to this or that level. Let us honestly admit our weaknesses. They have been hiding in the shadows, but now we have allowed the light to reveal their true nature, and we let the light's power in. Only with love can you prevail. We learn most not by words, but by deeds. The important people in your life whom you looked up to as a child did not necessarily leave an indelible mark on you through their words, a gesture, a smile, or an action. Don't be a giant among dwarfs. Become a giant among giants. There are times when it is wiser to say nothing. Recognize the false lights. The present confession must be made here and now and here. If after a long search we find it at last, we must make every effort to start upon it. We must put our whole hearts into it, and I assure you that divine grace will give us all the help we need. Remember, the city of dawn is you. You who are watching this video and who are thereby being brought into the consciousness of the Divine Mother. Live this in your daily life, and if you feel comfortable here, come back again and again. Be a regular guest here. Be a builder. Be a resident of the City of Dawn. Discover the deeper truths of your life. Find your way to yourself and become who you really are. If you would like to join me, subscribe to my channel. Follow me on Facebook and TikTok, and feel free to share this video with others. The Mother's books are available to read for free at the link provided in the description. And I welcome any questions you may have via email. You can purchase my book Awake Giants, The Dawn of the Soul on Amazon. You will find the link in the description. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for bringing your hearts and souls. May Mother bless you abundantly on your journey through life. I look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye.